My pal Ruby is hoping there is a werewolf, Beauty and the Beast type of fairy tale. Well, I haven't unearthed one of those, but I do know a tale where the werewolf character is the hero. I'm Liz, I'm a librarian and amateur folklorist and storyteller, and I'm unearthing fairy tales for my followers that they are in seek of or perhaps they have forgotten. Today's is a 12th century medieval poem attributed to Marie of France, who seems like a very cool lady based on the stories she wrote. It's called Bisclavret, which, P.S., I do not know how to pronounce. Bisclavret was a baron and a real swell guy. He had a suspicious habit, however. Once a week, the baron would vanish for 3 days and return with no explanation. He may have gotten away with this as a single man, but he was married, and his wife tired of this strange and secretive habit. She got so tired of it, she began stepping out on Bisclavret with a knight. Eventually, Wifey and the knight fell in love, and Wifey wanted to get out of her bizarre marriage, but she gave her husband a chance to explain himself. She pestered and pestered him for the truth of his mysterious outings, and finally he explained. Once a week I transform into a wolf for 3 nights. I go to the woods those days for everyone's safety, but as long as I hide my clothes in a safe place where I can retrieve them, I can transform back into a human after that time. The baron's wife received the news calmly, but inside, she was screaming. The next time she saw her knightly lover, she said, "I cannot be married to a werewolf. What if we have children? Will I give birth to a litter of puppies?" The knight had a suggestion. Maybe if your husband's clothes go missing, he'll have to live in the forest as a wolf permanently. Wifey and the knight decided that this was worth exploring, so the knight followed Bisclavret on his next outing into the woods. Once the baron had transformed, the knight stole off with his clothes and returned to the manor. 3 days passed, then 4, then 5, and the baron didn't return. Search parties were sent out, but months later, he was still gone. The community determined that the baron had died, and the baron's wife was now able to remarry. So naturally, she married her lover. A year passed. One day, the king was out hunting, and his dogs cornered a wolf. But this wolf was not behaving like wolves normally do. It broke through the pack of dogs and cowered to the king. He kissed his foot. He was clearly behaving in a submissive manner. And naturally, people in the old days, and sometimes still today, believed in the alpha wolf myth, so the king found this very odd behavior. He also found it adorable. He decided to take the animal home and show him off. I like to think he gave the baron a really funny pet name like Baron Tufty Toes III. One day the king invited the local knights and lords to the castle for a celebration. Suddenly, amidst the revelry, Baron Tufty Toes III lunged at one of the knights. Everyone was shocked. It was the first time the wolf had acted so ferociously. Shortly after the celebration took place, the drama doubled when the king brought his beloved pet with him to offer gifts to his subjects. He visited the home of Wifey and the knight. When the king and the wolf met with Wifey, the wolf went berserk. He attacked the woman and tore off her f***ing nose. One of the wise men of the court put 2 and 2 together. You know, that lady whose face got ripped off is married to the knight that the wolf attacked. She used to be married to the baron who went missing. Coincidence? The king had the wife questioned. Actually, he tortured her for answers. She told all and even produced the baron's clothing. The court offered the clothes to Baron Tufty Toes III, but the animal was hesitant. That wise man spoke up again. "He's probably going to be naked when he transforms. Give the man some privacy." They did. Before long, the baron walked into the room in human form. He and the king embraced, and Bisclavret had his lands and titles returned to him. As for his wife, well, she and the knight were exiled, and when she did eventually bear children, they were human, but they were born without noses. Which is not how biology works, but it is how fairy tales work. I have some mixed feelings about the wife's fate in this story. I mean, yeah, cheating ain't grand, but her man was acting very sus, and why should the kids have to bear the burden of her wrongs? God, that is a metaphor for the baggage we leave upon the generations behind us, ain't it? Interestingly, some folks read this fairy tale with queer theory in mind and believe Marie of France may have been exploring the idea of werewolves as queer folk due to some of the specific language she uses in her poem. So you see, the writer who shall not be named even stole that for her little wizard boy story. Is there a fairy tale you've been hoping to find, or one you've sort of forgotten and would like to be reminded of? I would love to track one down for you. Let me know. And while I track it down, check out my humorous fairy tale book, Up Fairy Tales, available anywhere you like to get books.